I forgot how to say. So my first time was here. That was my opportunity to add my comments and idea about the RRS program when the idea was first brought to the council, and I will also share my experience back in Saskatchewan that I was used to run a business there, and I made a comparison when Saskatchewan government's helping local small business owners, and whereas Alberta the similar size of town that I used to run, it's a Spearwood, town of Spearwood, a little bit smaller size than this one, I should say. So, and then later on, I heard the great news. Finally, our town of high levels be part of that RRS program. When I first heard that, it sounds quite promising. And then I believe that would expedite all the process and facilitate all the complicated process to help us to get our foreign workers to help out our stress in filling up all the empty spots. And personally, it was great news. So, and then I was encouraged to apply right away because thankfully EDO contacted me personally right away. Hey, it's in now. You're more than welcome to come in, apply. And we already also discussed about the application fee. It turned out $1,500 per application, which all agree, because we understand the weight and the significance of the application, because we believe that endorsement letter is meaningful, and I'm sure that we believe that they will place strong influence on provincial government's decision for my candidate. That's how we felt. So as a result, I applied 3 applications. So basically, I submit $1,500 each case, so $4,500. I'm not here to talk about the financial reason, but the reason I brought this is how significant that was for me to make decision to apply, and I wanted to show as an employer how serious we are about this. So $1,500, a bit more pricey, but I thought, yes, this is how we show a commitment, how serious we are about this. So we agree with that price. We didn't complain, reasonable, just like federal government does. They ask for $1,000 for each LMI application. So they don't want us to just apply and whatsoever, right? But we're serious about this. That's why we put up. But I'm fighting with my vendors every 2 or 3 weeks over 50, 60 cents per each product. That's what I'm doing. But for me, $1,500, big decision, believe it or not. So, but I applied 3 candidates. So I've been waiting for the result over and over. What it actually happened was, even despite the endorsement letter from town hall, the provincial government level didn't seem to care about that much. That's thanks for it's just like a part of the documentation we have to meet. Oh, you're eligible because you submit this application, but let us deal with this. So they have been thinking totally different idea. So what I heard is they putting all the candidates in one big pool, and they select at that time their own discretions. I don't know how. So when I first introduced to this idea and program, my understanding is because of our rural situation, our unique situation, I thought provincial government would somehow promise to give us more benefit, right, compared to other candidates, simply because we're endorsed by town hall on the promise between some kind of, promise between town and provincial government. We thought it would be somehow not guaranteed, but at least we'll be more favored in terms of processing. But end result, they keep delaying, no news. I talked to, so basically, as an employer, it's quite vulnerable. Nothing I can do about it other than helping my candidates to get the endorsement letter, and then each candidate has to apply their own AAIP provincial program on their own. That I'm not the one applying; the candidate has to. So candidate has to collect all the document, whatever, they submit it, and then they wait. And no news forever. And eventually the expiry date comes, the letter's gone. So what did I just do? So it's quite disappointing. It's quite disappointing. And then I trust you, each council and all members of town hall. However, as a just single employer, I cannot help but think, am I being taken advantage of? It's like with the promising advertisement, yoo-hoo, you're gonna get the employee quite quickly because of this program, woohoo, just $1,500. As long as you're eligible, you get it soon. But what happened? I'm sure you probably create a good stream of revenue because of that. I believe quite a few employers apply and pretty much racing because we know it's only so much room for it, right? But I was back there when it's first time I heard that actually the gentleman went to present that idea that there is actually a cap of 4 a year. It's unbelievable. I'm not even sure that's true or not, but that's when I first heard that, it was quite shocking. So that's why I can't leave the room. When others have the presentation, everybody's leaving, right? But I cannot leave. Wow. It's hard to believe. It's hard to digest right now. Had I known that there's only cap of 4 people a year for this town, I wouldn't have bet on this. I wouldn't have wasted my time because I know how difficult it is, how struggling, how complexity it is to go through federal program, provincial program. Because I've been through so many years since past 25 years of running small business. I've been through this a lot of stuff. But rural program, it's a great idea, quite promising when I first heard that. So I thought you're giving us special ticket to skipping all the steps and get us our employees as soon as possible. But end result, I waste my time. I'm not only emotionally disappointed, but I waste my time, waste my money. And there's seem to be nobody responsible for this. Sorry, it's off my hands. It's only a town municipal level. It's up to provincial governments. They're the one doing this, not us. So, but we trust on you guys. We trust our town, our council, our mayor. We didn't submit the application to them. We submit the application to town. And when I received the endorsement letter, I thought it was quite meaningful. I consider it quite meaningful letter from town. And I'll show my candidates over the FaceTime. I got this. My town helped us. Compared to other town, my town helped us. Good news, yes. But what did I just do? That candidate is disappointed. It's wasted his time entire year waiting. And I waited. And well, you probably know past 2 or 3 years because of the disasters and people suffering from, away from home, and a lot of people flood into town. And wow, that was really time that I needed that for employees. But I'm sorry, I didn't get any support that I need. And then the question I have today is, do you actually know the significance of this program and how much we need? How much our council members and the mayor understands how desperately we need this help in reality, like in time, like when we need, but that's not happening. So I'm not gonna ask for refund, but moving forward, apparently the gentleman introduced new idea of seemed to be more promising program, but I'm afraid, I'm not sure. It might be turned out to be another RRS program disaster, so-called. To me, it's like I'm not sure if I want to bet on this program again. Even if you try for us, be part of the program again, get the approval letter from provincial government, but is there any guarantee that same thing's not going to happen? So that's the question I like to ask. Like, somehow responsibility has to be there. Someone has to be hold responsibility here, right? So if it's not going to be like the way we expect, then I don't want to discourage those people at all, but we're talking reality. It's like when you say you're part of the program by provincial governments, how much guarantee can you obtain from them? Just like provincial program is guarantee program by federal governments, right? You become a provincial nominee, then federal governments, as long as you don't have criminal record or a medical issue, they issue the permanent residency, right? Just like they're a really strongly bonded contract. Just like that, can you have strong, promising contract between provincial government and town? If we endorse the letter, can provincial government give us that much credit to trust us so it can benefit in our favor so that we can have actually a positive result exactly the way we expect it? So that's something we have to really look into, I think, based on my past 2-year experience. So I wish everybody's here and gives some feedback together, but I'm a little disappointed everybody left. So I'll look at the agenda, then there's got to be something, and I finally found the question period. So I'm sorry, I had to stay here and desperately waiting for this moment to share my feedback, which might sound like complaint, but I'm sorry, it is complaint, but just hope you like to have my voice here today heard. So.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the question. I mean, I think I speak for all of council when I say we do understand the significance of this program and the significance of the the labor shortage within high level. I mean, we've been speaking about this for years. That's why we initiated the program in the first place. And I think for the councillors that were here when we first started that program in 2024, I think that there was maybe some information that wasn't completely provided to us by the province, and that's why we had just like you, it sounded like it was going to be a very easy process, and it was going to be a super simple way to get people here and to attract more people into the workforce. So obviously, we weren't told about a cap in 2024, 2025, and it wasn't until this year in January when we found out that there was a cap of 4 people, or sorry, 4 allotments that would be accepted. That's the first time they've ever produced a cap. There are other communities that got larger caps, but again, they have a much larger population than we do. And it's also the first time we found out that only 11 of the 126 endorsement letters that we had issued were actually accepted. So I think I said that earlier. We had no control over that. The provincial government does, or sorry, maybe even the federal government. You're asking for accountability, and I think that it honestly lies within the provincial government, because they had essentially told us how this program was going to work, and it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to, or the way that they had promised us it was going to. So, I don't think that it's on the town itself for, the way that things turned out, or the amount of allocations that are actually accepted. But again, I mentioned it earlier, we're going to advocate as much as possible when it comes to trying to raise the allocation number or finding other streams for this program to work. I do agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they change the RCIP program if they do open it up in the future, or if they ever do. It was a pilot program. They only allowed 14 cities out of all of Canada, and the surprising thing, you look at some of those cities, and some of those have populations of over 100,000 people. How do we compare to that? Why did they consider that a rural community? Right, we're 4,000 people in the last town in the top of Alberta. That's rural. I don't think that some of the cities they have on there are actually, or towns, or however they classify them, fully fit that criteria, but that's what they chose. Why they made those decisions, I don't know. But again, we are going to advocate as much as possible. I do appreciate your investment in the community, and appreciate, everything that you are doing here. When it comes to employing people, we understand the impacts that come with that, and it's huge. So I hope that, we're not downplaying any of the things that you're saying. We do feel for you, and we will advocate as much as possible.
Thank you. And sometimes I like to go home take some time off, but summertime